You want to intro the podcast?
I don't think that was going to get picked up, but I wish it did.
Wow, that was the worst intro ever.
That was
Welcome to After the Hype with Brian and Nick. Woo!
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's
I
good.
like that.
Yeah.
I do like how
You should just use that for everyone now.
Brad, you should go to Cody right now and be like, so you said you want skinny jeans. Try to get something like this. Because your pants are way more skinny than his.
Tell him to dress like you.
Skinny jeans are nice.
Mm-hmm. But these aren't too skinny.
No.
I don't like skinny jeans.
But the skinny jeans
we have a
showing
podcast
me
to record. Get,
Right, we're not talking about like emo
Just-
kid.
We're
in
talking
Love
go.
about how
Get out.
guys
We're-
can better accentuate their crotches.
we are recording. Get the fuck out.
I like his jeans.
I don't give a shit.
Who wants you to buy them?
Not buy them,
I'm
just
keeping all of this in.
This is the
Yeah.
worst intro we've ever had.
change jeans right now.
You did, but now it sucks because we won't stop talking about it. Get out.
What am I doing?
Close the
You're
door.
leaving!
Close the door.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Have fun, kids.
Thank you.
He can't even close the door
Good enough.
properly. That's not good enough. Ugh.
Brian's grumpy.
Brian's grumpy.
Why is Brian
Hi,
grumpy?
podcast world.
Yeah, okay, wow.
That was Chewie.
This is awful.
Me.
Our first week back, and this is the worst intro we've had.
I don't know if it's the worst.
We did have one where we got a review on Reddit about how bad our intro was, so hopefully
Really?
better than that.
Yeah.
And they were totally right. But
They were totally
I
right.
know, I was listening to it and be like, oh, Nick, that was bad.
I
It
know.
was,
I was listening
it
to
was
it at
my
work.
yawn.
Why-
I'll
what
take credit.
happened?
It was my... No, we don't need to talk about it. It's fine. We'll
yeah,
move
we
on.
won't talk about it.
Okay, so hi, thank you. Welcome to After the Hype with me, Brian, and Nick, as always.
Hello, everybody.
Today we are joined by Siobhan. Maybe you can hear her.
Shalom.
There it is. And then Chewie is finally back in LA,
Hola.
and she is on today. Yeah, so today we're going to talk about a movie again, go back to form a little bit
Yep.
after our couple weeks of odd episodes. We're going to start with just catching up. How was our breaks? What did we see? What did we do?
We watched a lot of... Me and Swan watched a lot of TV.
We watched How I Met Your Mother,
Mm-hmm.
which was exciting. Except for I don't know when the new season is on.
It's on now.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, it's been out for a while.
Yeah, but I think that
It's
they've...
halfway through.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
they're
halfway,
halfway
that's
through.
why, yeah.
But they're taking a break, right?
I don't watch it until after the
Okay.
season's done.
Is
Yeah,
this the
makes
final
sense.
season?
I know when they started, they said maybe,
They say
But I
that
don't
maybe
know.
for
Oh.
every season now.
but it should
Yeah.
be because it's out of ideas.
It really
Yeah,
should.
they
It
really
has
are.
really run its course.
And then we started watching recently... No, we didn't. That's it. We've only been watching How I Met Your Mother, I guess. We've watched the entire thing since you guys have been gone, up
Wow.
until now.
No, we didn't watch first season.
Oh, yeah, we skipped it because it was really bad.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
But then it gets really good for a little while, and then it
Exactly.
starts kind of.
Yeah, then it's hit or miss, but then some things are really good, so it's
Yeah.
kind of like, okay.
I just watched 4 episodes of the 7th season today.
Wow.
I got to the Lily's boobs are really big, and they were.
Yeah. It was.
It happens.
It does.
Mm.
And then we saw Django,
No.
and we
I
saw Les
tweeted
Mis.
on our Twitter account, ATH_podcast,
Mhm.
about Django and about how my last episode of the best of the year was wrong because I like Django so much.
Well, I feel like mine is wrong because I rewatched Dredd. Surprise, that's what we're doing today, guys. And I really fucking liked it.
Yeah.
It was really good the second time, and I might change my answer for best film to
Dredd
Dredd.
is
Wow.
so good.
It's
So,
so good.
we come back and we both change our answer.
Yeah, I know. That's such a hokey bullshit thing, but whatever. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm kind of fine with it.
Yep. But yeah, we watched most of the big movies, and we watched This Is 40. But we'll probably do podcasts on at least 2 of those, Les Mis and Django. Maybe not This Is 40. Well,
Or maybe you should.
maybe we should.
If
I
we
don't
have,
know.
If we have a down week.
Yeah, if we
might.
do.
If we have another week, we're like, fuck it, we'll do The Savages again.
Yeah. We could easily do that again. We could easily revisit that a year from now and still have plenty of shit
Wait,
to
you
talk
guys
about.
did the Savages?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we did.
We need to listen more to the podcast.
Yeah, you guys suck.
I
Yeah,
really
Yeah,
Yes,
New Year's
it's-
resolution, guys.
I know I missed the last one, but I thought I...
No, there was one on The Savages, and it was probably one of our better episodes.
Yeah. And we
Huh.
stopped because we had to, and we still could have, like, easily done
Usually
more.
another hour or two about that.
Oh, my God.
All right.
Did you guys... You didn't like it?
No. No, just listen to the podcast.
You have to, yeah.
Yeah, just listen to
fine.
it.
We will talk about Savages forever.
Yeah. Before we get too far into it. All right,
Yeah.
I saw Django. I loved it. I saw Is that it? Did I see any other movie? Did I only see
Zero Dark?
Oh, I saw Zero Dark 30. And that was really good. But a lot of my friends told me it was the best of the year. And I don't think it was the best of the year. And I know we'll have to do an episode on it because it's just that movie. But I feel it's too soon.
Sure.
Because it happened a year ago.
Sure.
And, like, they talk about things that happened a year ago like it was long history. And it's just kind of, I don't know. The performances are good. The characters are kind of forgettable. And just, it was really good. Like, and I say that fully knowing, like, Catherine Bigelow's character, she usually has one really good one.
Yep.
And everyone else is kind of like,
whatever.
Yeah. And this is pretty much the same. Jessica Chastain was great. Everyone else was kind of there.
Makes sense.
And then I read a book, an entire book over the break.
What book?
I read How to Archer, which is written by Sterling Archer from the show Archer. It's a book by him, how to be him.
Interesting.
And it is a pretty hysterical book if you like the show Archer. If you don't, it's completely useless, but I thought it was hysterical. And then I've started watching The Walking Dead because I got bored. And I enjoy it as much as anyone can.
How far are you into it?
I'm in season 3. But I've only just started season 3.
Oh, yeah, we stopped.
Yeah, I'm in season 3. I pushed through the bore of season 2, and I enjoy it. It's not the best show ever, but I enjoy it.
You like the video game more than you like the show.
If it wasn't for the video game, I never would have watched the show. The video
Yeah.
game is what made me go, I need more of this in my life, and I don't feel like reading that book because I
I'd
think
talk to him on the
book's
phone.
kinda
He'd be like, "Oh my god, all the characters, they just died." I'm like,
Yep.
"Yeah, it's okay, honey."
shit. It's not. It's really not. It was so sad.
Side note, I forgot. I spent fucking 3 weeks thinking about. I found this. I didn't find. Somebody showed me at work this rapper who is awesome, and I was spending the whole time like, I need to talk about this on the podcast, and as per usual, I forgot. So, Macklemore. Everyone should look up Macklemore because he's fucking awesome.
Oh, listen to the video that you through Savan put on my
What's that?
Yep.
the thrift stop.
Oh, you had me watch that.
Yeah,
That was
good.
pretty good. It was a little too close to home for me.
As we
was
sit in a room surrounded by things bought at a thrift store.
But
Hey,
it's glorifying the thrift
I get
shop.
quality things.
Exactly.
That's what
And
he talks
none
about.
of the things I buy smell like pee.
That's fair. You also didn't buy a broken keyboard and then bought a kneeboard either. So
Thought about it.
it's fair.
I've looked at
Yeah,
keyboards.
and that's the whole point of that piss joke was he's like, but shit, it was 99 cents.
Yeah.
Um,
I bought and broken things.
But I have to say that if you listen to that song, you like it, the rest of the CD is basically very dissimilar from that.
But it's still
Oh.
really
It's
good.
really, really good, though.
My friend Lauren just made a Facebook status saying that she wanted to do a remix of it, but for the fabric store.
That'd be fine. One of the songs I just want to talk about I'm just going to continue talking about it,
I know
but
you could have like a whole episode by yourself just
just
talking
me
about
talking about how much I like it. But he has
We
one
haven't
really
done an
awesome
episode on
song.
music before. I wouldn't be opposed
Oh,
to it.
we could do it. I would be
could
so
do it.
happy. Because he has a song about his, he's like a recovering drug addict, and it's about his remission, which is really, really good. Which is kind of sad.
Remission?
Isn't that what it is?
No.
Relapse.
Yeah.
That's the
Like-
one.
Drugs, cancer, what?
Yeah. They kind of go together. No, it's about his relapse, and it's really, really good. The whole CD is actually really solid. So yeah, I highly recommend it. It's like pretty cheap on iTunes. He's an independent artist, so all the money basically goes to him, and then a little bit goes to Apple, obviously, because it's on iTunes. So yeah. Sorry for cutting you guys off. Did you guys watch anything else? Huh, Chewie?
Did I watch anything?
I had my rant.
Well, since I've never been on the show before, only people get a little idea of where I've been. I was in a giant bubble called work. Suffocating 12 hours a day work.
This is the saddest.
I hate
but
life.
that is done now. And I did see Django Unchained. And I still want to say Django, but I'm worried that I might get harmed by somebody.
You will, because the D is silent.
The D is silent, hillbilly. That was a rough movie, but, loved it. So good.
It is rough.
Haven't seen any other... We didn't go to any other films, even though we said that we would.
We kept talking about going to see Les Mis.
Yeah,
We
but
never
we're
did.
doing that tonight.
Yeah, we will see it.
We are doing that tonight.
We saw the play, but that was over Thanksgiving.
Yeah. At least I'll understand what's going on.
Oh.
yeah, so I'm out of that bubble and plan on watching a whole lot of stuff now and reading a book. 'Cause I haven't read a book in a while.
She hasn't read a book since we've been dating.
Really?
Yeah, it's just,
We're engaged now, so it's been a bit
it's
of time.
been a while. So I'm planning on reading some books, actually reading the comics that I purchased. Because I bought a lot of comics and never got around to reading them because of work. And
I just bought a comic yesterday. It's one of Nick's favorites.
yeah, and I still tell you that you could have just stolen that from Nick.
Yeah.
He could
We
have
could
just
do a
stolen that
fucking
from
one
you.
on that.
Yeah.
I could
Just
talk
borrowed
forever
it.
about
Yeah,
that
I
comic.
wanted it on this.
One of my goals, though, is in my unemployment is to catch up on a lot of stuff, like reading a book. And I'm actually going to watch all of... Why did it just leave my brain? Damn it. Tony's show.
Tony show?
The Spy Show.
Oh, Chuck.
I'm going to
Oh,
watch
my
all
brother
of Chuck.
keeps talking about Chuck.
Because I didn't get into Chuck until near the end of the show, where I watched the last 2 seasons. And then I was just like, holy crap, this is amazing.
Really?
Now I need to go back, I need to watch all of it, and not... I had severe, like, geeky nerd snub nose at it. Be like, oh, that's just stupid, it's just for stupid people. And now I'm like, oh no, it was actually for my people, and it's really good.
Oh, fuck Tony.
Whatever. So I'm going to see all of his DVDs, and I'm going to watch that entire show during my unemployment. It's going to be great.
We should watch that next. That's a good one to watch.
I'm fine with that.
Should I say what I've been doing?
Yes.
Mine
Does
is
it
what
differ
we've
from
been
Nick?
doing. No, yeah,
Okay.
it does. Well, the one thing is that at work during my lunch, I've been reading Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which I've never read. So it's
Have you
something
seen
that
the movie?
I saw the movie, but I have a bad memory, so I don't remember any of it, anyways, except for the beginning, which is weird.
That is weird.
That's weird that I remember that. Anyways, but yeah, that's it.
Okay.
I feel like a little 4th grader reading it though.
I support you reading that. It's so good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm like halfway through.
She's at my favorite of the books, so I'm excited.
Very fun.
Yeah.
All right, so today's movie, as Nick has dropped the ball on.
I know, guys,
Didn't
I'm
drop
so
the ball.
sorry.
He didn't drop the ball. He
I'm
just.
so sorry.
He
I
let
would
it out
rather
of the
hear it in the
bag.
beginning than wait for it.
I like making them wait.
But they already
I-
know because
I don't give a shit. I've mentioned that every time that I don't care. I like making them wait. It's all about the
And
reveal.
now they're just annoyed at
Brian
you.
likes the tease.
I like the tease. And
It's not a very good tease.
they already know what it is. It's not teasing.
I don't give a shit. Anyhow, today's movie's
Wait.
Dredd.
It's fun ganging
Wait.
up on Brian.
It's foreplay. You know, with foreplay, you're gonna have sex eventually.
Yes.
Brian's just playing foreplay with the audience.
Yeah, you know it's
You're
on
welcome,
the table.
Brian.
No,
Oh!
you've already
But no,
had
it's
the
the
sex.
foreplay.
There's the
Like when
podcast
somebody,
is the sex. We
like
can go
when
through
somebody's
it.
massaging your elbow, and you're just like, why?
Yeah.
Can you move
Why
on?
is this
Stop
working?
doing it.
I don't
No, it's
understand.
not working. Just move on. Why? Stop it.
If you stick with it, it'll work eventually. Anyhow, I'm going to move on and do my bit about the hype of Dredd, because it is dreadful.
Yeah.
Oh.
But really, it was. It was the most bullshit marketing campaign for a movie I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
For a movie as quality as this is, and we will get into how much I'm sure the whole table loves the movie because it's fucking great. There's a weird moment.
No, because I was saying I was not like shaking my head no, but then I was shaking.
That's good, because I would have fucking fed you to my rats. Anyhow, so this movie cost way too much money, which is kind of sad, because I think they shot it in, I want to say somewhere in Africa? I know they didn't shoot it
Really?
here. They shot it way
Yeah.
overseas.
That
Why?
kind of, that
It was-
makes sense.
It was all location. I don't know why they did it, but they did. So it
weird.
cost $50 million to make this movie, and it was a whole fuckload of nobodies. Either maybe you can make an argument for Lena
Carl
Headley
Urban.
because no one knows who Carl Urban is but you.
She didn't know who she was.
Who he loved.
Yeah, I don't understand it, but it's fine.
Why do you love him?
No.
No.
I wanna
We'll get into
know.
Carl
It
Urban.
is
Let
a
me
long
finish this part.
story. Going all the
Anyhow.
way back to Hercules.
Oh my god.
Just let Brian finish.
It's the most frustrating podcast I've ever had. Anyhow, so it cost $50 million to make it. It ended up making a whopping $13 million stateside, which is laughable, and then $19 million at the foreign box office, which brings it to a grand total of $32 million, and absolutely no
So
chance of
sad.
a series or sequel, which is devastating for a movie that was this good.
Yep.
Reviews were, they started out unbelievably good, and then they kind of ended in the mediocre zone, because some people just didn't like the hyper violence and the kind of character that you can't really relate to because he has a mask on the whole fucking time, and there's a lot of complaints to where if you don't like this style of movie, I can understand and disagree with you. It's just that there was more of them than there were the good ones. However, when it came to the user reviews, it had 92. I'm going off Metacritic like usual. 92 positive, 3 negative. So I'm going to read you one of the negatives just because I like going for the polar opposite. Because I think this one's... this is pretty great. This comes from Mr. Inky. He gave it a 2 out of 10. I know why the reason I was the only one at the show last night. This movie should never have been made. I saw Judge Dredd with Sylvester Stallone, and I like it a whole bunch. So don't waste your time on this one.
That explains a lot. Explains a lot.
That's so awful.
Yeah, it's. I thought it was a pretty good
liked
review.
Rob Schneider more than he liked this one.
Yep.
Yeah, he likes Sylvester Stallone not wearing the mask, screaming "I am the law," and it's
Looking mildly retarded.
yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that was a quality film.
Another thing to tack on to a lot of people really liking it. Reddit in the last week has had at least 3 posts go to the top of the subreddit for movies that have been like, seriously, watch this fucking movie. It's amazing.
Oh yeah, I've commented on those a couple of times.
Yeah, and it's been 3 days, at least 3 days out of the last week have been top posts been about Dredd. And I think that they're right.
I'm hoping, and I this is a blind hope, I'm hoping that somehow because of all of this DVD love, it might see a second life, but I seriously doubt it.
It has to make a lot.
Yeah, and it would, like, obnoxious.
And it's also disappointing because people aren't going to get the full experience with that. Like,
Right, that's what
had
we were
some of the
talking
most
about when we were watching
beautiful
it, too.
3D I have ever experienced.
Yep.
I would almost say that I felt more like moments of awe, like literal awe, than I did in Avatar.
Oh, yeah. Because this movie is clearly shot for 3D. Like, you can't convince me otherwise. And, like, it's a very well-shot movie. I mean, when we were watching it on Savant's computer, it felt like, I was like, I really just wish more people saw this in the theaters. Because not only is it just, like, the 3D and the way it's shot, but the sound design and the music all kind of are, like, a theater experience.
Yeah.
Where it's, like, the music is, like, really heavy, but that's the point. Like, more people should have seen this in theaters.
Yeah.
I think all 4 of us collectively were probably the people in the room saying, "Go see this!"
Yep.
And no one was listening to us.
Yep.
All right, well, so let's dive into this thing. Unless there's any other hype that people want to talk about. I mean, I could talk about my personal hype from the movie because I read the comic book as a kid. I'll even talk about it for a moment.
Yeah, no, talk about it.
So when I was a little kid, that was the book that my friends and I read that was like the R-rated comic book because it was fucking violent as hell, and the character had some heart to him that a lot of us really liked, but you had to read the books to get to like him. And I think that might have been another problem with the movie is because you don't get to know Dredd at all in this movie. And you have to spend a lot of time with Dredd to get to know him. And they try to hint at a little bit the best they can. Mm-hmm. But I'm fine with that because it's the same thing for the books where you have to spend time with him to actually get to know him.
But to be fair, I've never read the books, and I didn't even see the old version of Judge Dredd, and I felt a connection to him. I didn't, I think that's... It's fair because that's probably how people feel, but I personally don't agree.
Well, there's a lot of people who would have trouble watching a movie, which is why they did it the first time with a character who has the mask on the whole time, and like that's something to be said. But yeah, I was always really looking forward to it, and then I remember seeing the movie when I was a kid, going, "Well, if this is the best we got, I guess I enjoy this movie," and just kind of liking the movie, but just always kind of like it sucks, but it's Dredd, so you got to like it. And so this one I haven't read Dredd in years, like a long, long time. I'm way out of it. I don't think for a long time they stopped writing it. So yeah. So I saw this movie kind of worried, but kind of excited, and it was a little too close to the raid, which we'll have to touch on at some point because you can't avoid it.
Yep.
But like, I was like, I'll give it a shot, and I loved the hell out of it because it really nailed the idea of the comic book, in my opinion.
I agree. So we should sum up what the plot of the movie is.
Go for it.
There really isn't much to sum up. And that's not, like, I don't think a problem with the movie. But I think that it's got a very simple plot, but it executes it very well. But it's not really about the plot. It's like a character study in a really absurd sort of way, but it is. The plot of the movie is Judge Dredd is got a rookie named Anderson who's basically a psychic. And so it's her first day, kind of. Basically, this is her test to see if she can make it onto the side of the judges. If she can cut it being a judge.
Well, because she failed the paper test.
Yes,
Yeah.
but I think that you would still... The impression I get is that you would still have to do a field work thing anyway. So
Well, they full on said that she failed, so she's out because she failed the paper test. But
Right.
they said because she is such a crazy psychic,
Right.
they'll have her do the physical test too. Sorry, I don't mean to keep
That makes sense. No, you're right.
Yeah.
But basically, they kind of pick this place at random that has these 3 homicides, and they find out that the whole building, which is a fucking kilometer high, is run by the Mama clan, and basically they get trapped inside after a drug bust and end up basically trapped and trying to survive. That's the plot.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and it's really good though.
It is.
It's one. I mean, I feel like we've done a lot of movies recently where it's like we'll sum up the plot and it kind of sounds lackluster, but it's like, well, that's our problem. You know, it's like if you sum up the plot to this movie, you're gonna make it sound bland. But the point of the movie isn't the plot. The point is like the characters and the locations and like
The unbelievable
the
action
actions.
sequences.
Yeah.
There's a lot to this movie.
Exactly.
It's not just plot, and that. I mean, it's a Dredd movie. You're not going into this thing for like the heavy plot. Like that's not what you're there for. You're there for everything else.
exactly.
So yeah, let's start. Let's just talk about Dredd himself. I wanted to start with him because he is Dredd.
Yep.
I can't think of a better way to say it.
You would dread him.
Yeah, you don't
Fuck
want
yeah.
you don't want to fucking cross him.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
They even say that in the movie. We're like, do you know which judge you have? Well, I do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Not
$1
the
million.
exact-
Oh my god. Yeah, like I feel like you can't talk about Dredd without talking about Karl Urban in this movie, and I feel like he does an excellent job.
His facial expressions, even just with his mouth, it's just amazing.
Like,
It's
yeah,
so
he's,
good.
Where it gets into my love of him. He's a really underrated, fantastic actor, and to me, that's one of the reasons that he's such a fantastic actor, because he doesn't stand out beyond his role. He is that role.
Exactly. And I think that all the shit that I wrote this down because I was halfway through the movie and I was like, man, like Karl Urban's he's doing such a good job emoting without having like his eyes, basically. But he's using the bottom half of his face so well. And I was like, people gave Tom Hardy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tom Hardy so much shit for Bane that I feel like when you compare those two, it's like, yeah, Karl Urban fucking blew him out of the water.
Oh,
like,
yeah. I mean, I don't even. Like, we should probably do an episode on the Batman thing eventually, but I really kind of hate a lot about that movie with specific things because of things like Bane, because he deserved all the shit he got.
I agree.
Whereas then you look at Karl Urban, to where technically most actors would want the use of their eyes
Right.
Yep.
versus just their mouth. And Karl Urban portrayed an entire character with just a frowny face.
Yeah,
But it was
like,
also the inflection in how he talked.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
He did gravelly without being annoying.
Yeah.
Not like Batman, where like, rah, 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 rah.
Yep.
He was like you actually believed that's how he talked.
exactly.
Yeah.
I think that the character of Dredd, like we were talking about it in the hype section about how like I could see how people would have like that disconnect. But I think that Karl Urban did such a good job with his body language portraying Dredd of being like a super macho guy, no nonsense sort of shit, and you got that in the first kind of his first introduction.
Mm-hmm.
Not just in the monologue, but in like his first action sequence when you first see him in action too, where he's just like, this isn't a negotiation. And it's just like, holy shit, like this guy is hilariously like, you know, like he's a man, quote unquote. Like it's like, oh, if I could draft the men of like film, he would be in like the first round.
Oh, yeah. He's a man's man. He's a fucking through and through cop.
Yeah.
Like an unbelievably just cop.
He is his job.
He is his job.
Well, I think like what I like best about his character is that he, with any situation, he knows exactly how to handle it. Like he knows exactly what to do to kind of like get the job done.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah. Which is, I think, kind of what they were calling back to in that part
Right.
when they're like, do you know what judge we're up against? It's like, because he's fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
He probably doesn't have a personal life. He just
I think that you could drop the probably. He definitely doesn't have.
he doesn't have anything. Like
He'd be the guy
he
who-
has no distractions.
No.
He'd be the
But
guy to
he's
go
okay
home to his
with it, it
apartment,
seems.
which
Yeah.
is like a stark white apartment with a bed and a table.
Yeah.
And he'd go to bed in his gear and wake up in his gear and go back to work.
Well, they show him putting his gear on, so we know that's not true.
It's just new gear. It's like a closet full of the same suit, you know? Oh my god. I have to say that, like, I actually thought they did a really good job with his character in this. I mean, not just being like a cop, but I thought that they did a good job of giving him moments to be, like, human, right? Yeah. Like, his monologue is really interesting because I don't think, like, I really listened to it the first time and listened to what he was saying. And basically, he's talking about how, like, tough his job is, essentially. Like, you know, a man's man traditionally wouldn't be like, hey, by the way, like, I work in a shithole. I live every day in a shithole. Like, I breathe shit. I see shit. And that's basically what his monologue is.
It's very similar to the monologue from At a Watch.
It is.
Yeah, it's much more comic booky and futuristic and all that sort of stuff. But it is very, like, this is what I have to do.
Exactly. Yeah. And I thought that they gave him moments to be, like, human. Because, like, there's a part... I'm not going to spoil anything yet. There's a part at the end of the movie where he looks down at a badge. And, like, that moment could have just been, like, hokey, kind of dumb, just being like, oh. But, like, he does it in such a way where he... We'll get to that. I should just talk about it right
Just
now,
talk
right?
about Anderson. We'll move on to Anderson.
Okay. So, basically, Anderson at the end of the movie quits. And the main... Dredd's boss, I don't know what her name is. They don't ever really address her by name, but you just get the impression that she's very high up. She's a high up judge. And she asks him if Anderson passes or fails. And he kind of pauses, and then she asks him again, like, is it a pass or is it a fail? And he says pass, and then looks down at the badge because he knows that he has to answer honestly. He cannot lie.
Yep.
And he basically inducts her into a life that she doesn't want. Because she's not getting out of it. I don't think you can quit being a judge. That's not the impression that I get. And
Really?
His reaction to it is, I feel terrible about what I've just done, but at the same time, it's my job. Like, my job is to answer her question. She asked me a question, I answered it honestly, and unfortunately, this girl is now a judge doing something that she doesn't want.
I never got the... I felt like she wants to do it. That's why she was so upset, because she felt that she had failed.
See, I agree with Nick. I got that she doesn't want to do it, because if that's what it takes to be a judge,
right.
I don't want to be a judge.
Yeah, and she hands him the badge after still kind of the mission's over. You know, she could have handed it in when she quit, when she was up, when they were finally getting to Mama. But she quits after that. She quits after being shot. She quits after almost being raped and tortured. She quits after, like, going through hell, basically. I felt like that she didn't want to be it. But this is,
Yeah, that's the exact opposite of what I got out of it. Like, I saw it as her character getting, like, full... she's unsure of herself at the beginning. She looks nervous. She's, like, her weapon, she's like, do I want to shoot them? Do I not want to shoot them? And then after she goes through that whole experience of getting captured, being down to the lowest, like, I'm about to die. And then she doesn't. The gun recognizes it's not her, blows the guy's hand off, and then she stands up, kind of sultry-like, and then freaking breaks his neck with her leg. She just kicks him, and you know that she broke his neck.
Right.
And then suddenly she's going through the hallway, she's shooting everybody, she's a complete badass. She's not batting an eye. She's not looking weak. She's doing it. She doesn't look like she hates it. She looks like, now I'm in control. That's what it looked like to me. Like, finally, I know what I'm doing. I know why I'm doing it. And I can do it. And then, to me, that's why she was so upset at the end. Because, like, well, I know I failed because I got my weapon taken away. So she's just so upset that, like, now she knows what she can do. But in her mind, she failed the test. So she's just really upset.
Interesting.
That's what I got out of it.
See, I'm with Nick. Like, I still think that it was, at the end of it, she knows she can do the job, but I don't think she wants to do the job. And especially because I agree, I would have agreed with you more if I didn't think that I kind of get the thing from Dredd to where it's like, I kind of have to put her in this life because we need people like her.
Yeah.
She got really good at it after one thing. Like, she totally proved herself.
Yeah. But, I mean, all of these are just speculation, because we're never going to know without a sequel.
But that's such a good moment to have in a movie, especially at the end where you can actually talk about it and be like, what do you think happened? Yeah. I mean, like, if this movie never gets a sequel, like, I will still feel the way I feel about her decision, at least now. Maybe I'll see it again and see it differently. But, like, I don't think you're wrong either. You know, like I think that Chewie's just as right as me and Brian.
And Savon. I
And
agree with
Savon.
you guys.
You agree with me?
Yeah, because I feel like
You're outnumbered, Chewie.
it was
I
probably.
mean, this is how I took it. I took it as a moment of empowerment for her, not a.
Well, right.
Not as I
No,
don't
but
want
not
to do
that
this.
she's not empowered. I don't think it has to do with that. I think it just has to do with, like, you know, her being from that life of, you know, like I don't know, what are they called? Like, not slum people, but like
Well,
the
no,
people
I
that
mean,
live-
they're the people in
the
peach
people
trees.
that live in, like, the peach trees
Yeah.
and, like, seeing what, you know, violence it is. I don't know, in the world, I feel like maybe it's too much. But not necessarily, I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to say. This is why I don't talk.
All right, well, before we go too far into just an absolute full-blown love fest over this movie,
Sure.
I want to bring up something, because I do have something specifically with Anderson of kind of like, because this movie is not flawless. As much as I like it, it's not.
Okay.
There are issues with it. And I'll just bring up my first one with Anderson. She's the most powerful psychic in the world. She's alone in the room with this guy with a gun. Why does he get the upper hand on her? I mean, like Chewie brought this up, and I kind of defended it, but how
What
does
do
he
you
get the upper
mean?
hand? So as soon as she's closed off from him, and they're in their own room, and he's going to shoot her, she still has her mind ability. She can just invade his mind and get him to do whatever he wants.
But you
I
can
thought
also
about
think
that,
about
too.
like crazy shit like he did and kind of
But
freak
she,
out.
but
she clearly
but
was able to
she
go
one-upped
above
him
that.
there. She destroyed him in that sequence.
And
And it could just be that she knew that he had the gun and it was going to blow off his arm and stuff like that. But it's still
Yeah.
kind of... But with her being the most powerful psychic ever, she only really uses that power to the most powerful psychic ever one time.
But what could she have done to like convince him to let her go?
She has control of his mind.
Yeah, she
can
can
do
invade it.
anything she wants.
I wonder if she can't.
She
And I'm
doesn't
speak-
have control.
I
She
I'm
doesn't have,
speaking
like,
as... This is what I know I don't like in the comic book when we do podcasts, but I'm speaking as the character that I know from the comic book.
Sure.
Okay.
To where she can do these things.
I have a playing devil's advocate. I agree that it's because I thought the same thing. I was like, yeah, I wonder why she doesn't do anything, especially now. Because at the time I was like, I wonder why she doesn't do anything in the elevator. And I was like, well, she's fucked either way, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, either way the door's going to open up and she's fucked.
I wonder if the rules that they kind of established when they were writing this movie, that it was she could invade people's minds, but she couldn't control them. Because when she was making him well, she didn't make him piss himself, but he pissed himself. When he pissed himself, he couldn't fight back anyway. He just got the shit kicked out of him, number one. Number two, he's in handcuffs. So maybe that has something to do with it. I mean, granted, we're playing a guessing game, and logically, I think you would lean towards your thing of being like, that doesn't make any sense, than the other one of playing like maybe it's because of this, you know?
Yeah.
I agree, though. That is a bit of an odd moment.
Yeah. And up until like that right after she was almost killed, she's fucking awful at her job. And
Yeah.
I realize that she's not supposed to be the best.
She wasn't terrible.
She was pretty awful. If Dredd wasn't there, she would have been fucked.
Well, yeah. But
Yeah.
Like,
so
not
would
even, like-
anybody else almost.
No, but I think normal judges would have been okay. They might not have made it like Dredd did, but she would have been fucked. She questioned shooting people. She questioned she was this far in the program to where she's like the last step before becoming a judge, and she's sort of like And the rules are very clear in this universe to where they committed a crime, you execute the sentence, and you are judge, jury, and everyone. So if this guy tried to kill you, it's your job to kill him, and she hesitates. And
I don't think she hesitated every time, though.
in the beginning
She
she did.
hesitated the first time. But
Yeah.
I felt she got a little bit better each time. She got a little less regretful about it.
I think I can defend this one pretty well.
Okay.
I have a hard time starting a new job. I get really nervous. And even though I know I can do the job, the first day always sucks. So, and granted, it gets a lot better. You know, like once you finish the first day, you're like, cool, now I've got like the sea legs, you know, like I'm good to go. But I think that I can understand where she's coming from because she doesn't have her sea legs yet. Like, she's never had to kill a person. Some of the stuff, I agree with you. It's just like, come on, it's common sense, dumbass. Like, let's just get her shit together. But, like, the killing person I get. But, like, some of the other things. But then she's also really resourceful. She saves them when they're in that hallway and they sneak into that room.
She does, and she always makes the right call. Like, Judge Letcher makes the call, and she makes the right call.
Yeah. But she would be screwed.
Yeah.
You know, like, absolutely. She would have died in the lobby of the building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was kind of expected almost. Because
Sure.
Judge even says that 1 out of 3 people die their first day.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
She would have been one of those.
And she was in it, obviously, on her first day, immediately put it into a very tense situation.
Right.
But you're a judge. That's what you're supposed. Okay. Either way, I don't want to spend the whole time talking about her. I want to move on. I want to talk about. I really want to talk about Lena Headey before we start talking about like the actual. Like I want to talk about Lena Headey, and then I want to talk a little bit more about the atmosphere and the music and the costumes, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But since we're talking about actors, I want to move on to Lena Headey because Lena Headey, to me, I've liked her in pretty much everything she's ever been in. I liked her in 300. I liked her in the Sarah Connor Chronicles. I love her in Game of Thrones.
Yep.
I think she's fantastic. And bringing in this female... I'm sick. I'm sorry if I choke a little bit. This female villain this year, when we've already talked about the worst female villain of this year with Selma Hayek.
Yeah.
This is what all female villains should be.
I agree.
Like, in a world like this one, where the guys are so beefy and terrifying, they could just pretty much throw her across the room. This girl still owns the room every time she walks into it, as just a terrifying human being.
Because you never know what she's going to do to you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And putting her on that edge, and by having the character, I don't know his name, the computer hacker guy, showing how afraid he is of her every time she's there, totally makes her that much more scary.
He is my favorite character in the movie. The hacker.
Oh, yeah.
I'll throw that out there. Because I think, not only my favorite character, I think he takes the cake for being like, every time he's in a scene, he kind of sneakily steals the scene.
He does.
Because you're just like, when Lena Headey's got that knife to his gut.
Oh, right,
and
his belly button, she's just kind of like digging around.
It's like the cleanest, smoothest belly I've ever seen.
But, like, he's talking to the people, and he's just like, yeah, like, we lost control of the systems, and he's fucking terrified. Like, the guy does such a good job of making me feel nothing but pity for him. Like, it's just nothing but pity. It's like looking at a dog that's just gotten abused for, like, 8 straight years. Because you know he's been in there his whole life.
Yeah.
Well, at least since they have the scene where they show Lena Headey gouge his eyes out.
Yep.
Fuck.
Yep.
But
I wish they would have. I wish they would have. I mean, I'm not really sure what the purpose of his eyes were. Just so that they were they just synced with the computer then? Because
I think it's to allow him to see more because his pupils are huge. So I think it's to allow him to kind of like get away with being able to focus on
all of it at
one
time.
Yeah,
because they never say why that gave him an edge at looking at a computer screen. Really?
Sure.
Well, I mean, it very well could be that they don't. That they're just eyes. That they're just mechanical eyes that he had replaced when Lena Headey gouged his eyes out.
I guess so.
Yeah,
so they literally could just be replacements. And he's a really good hacker, and hackers need to see computer screens, so if she wants the best hacker, she's got to give him eyes.
There you go.
So it really could just be, they're not, they're just eyes.
That's true. But back to Cersei.
Yes.
So, I know, the whole time we were calling her Cersei.
Yeah.
I just call her Lena Headey.
Yeah, she's so good, though. Like, every role that she's in. Yeah.
Sarah Connor.
She's
such a good villain because I feel like she has that face where she's just kind of like, it's like a deadpan, but like there's still that like anger emotion behind her eyes. You know, like a lot of people can't really pull that off, I think. It's just like...
The thing for me with her in that role that really got me was that after seeing her in so many like regal roles, like in 300, in Game of Thrones or whatever, when she's playing queens.
Right. You can even argue Sarah Connor is pretty regal.
Yeah.
Because she has, like, all this power.
Yeah.
You know?
And then you see her in this movie, and her face is messed up, her hair's always a mess.
Her teeth are disgusting.
Oh, they're so gross.
And then she talks more gravelly, like she talks like someone that doesn't, isn't a speaker per se.
Yeah.
And then actually, like, her body language, the way she moves, is really rickety. Like, physically, she looks like she's probably ill a lot, but she hides it. Like, everything, it's like she embodied the grossness of her character so well.
She looks like she's been through the ringer, but like the Peachtree's ringer. So it's been like just a really rough ride. Like, I would not be surprised if her character was like 23. I'd be like, yeah, that doesn't surprise. That kind of makes sense.
Well, it's one of those, like, it's kind of a bummer that we're not going to get a sequel, and it's even more of a bummer that if we did get a sequel, she wouldn't be in it.
No.
Like, I understand he's got to kill her at the end because that's his job. She did this, and this. Sentence is death. She's got to die.
And it would feel really lame if she got away.
Yeah, if she got away somehow, it wouldn't fit.
I don't even know how she put her head back together.
Yeah, I don't know how she would ever survive or get away from Dredd, but I want to see more of that character. I want to see her again because she was so
like
fucking
her backstory.
That was so
smart.
Yeah.
So smart.
Yeah, I would watch all of it.
Oh my god.
I'd watch an entire movie on her as long as she was in it. Like,
she was a hooker with a heart of filth.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, she was disgusting. But I mean, she did such a good job. She did such a good job of like the little moments of like controlling the room. Like, I mean, it wasn't just like the extras too. It was like her just kind of like not like icing everyone else out, being very smart, but also not really giving much of a shit. You know, like just a really. She seemed like I bought her as I can see how she totally controls like this whole fucking building.
Well, it's one of those things where like we talked about it with Selma Hayek, to where it's like, why wouldn't any of these people just go, well, I'm gonna fucking shoot her and now I'm in charge. This seems like a good idea.
Yep.
With Lena Headey, I wouldn't buy that anyone would do it.
No.
Because I feel like the second anyone would pull a gun on her back, they're dead.
Yeah.
Yep.
Somehow she'd dodge it.
She'd either dodge it or she's paid off the people around her so well that
Yep.
they do everything they tell her to do. If not only with the name.
She just has that thing though, and that's probably what they'd be scared
Well, she puts
of.
that in at the end.
That's at the end. But
She literally
She just
has
put it
no
in.
other option at that point.
Exactly.
But yeah, but I even with just the character name of Mama, it shows so much that these guys like they worship her. Like she is
Exactly.
in charge.
Well, what I thought was funny was actually the name Mama is her first name. I forget what it is.
I think it's like Madeline Madrigal.
Yeah. So it's
So
like
explain it.
Mama.
It makes sense.
I mean, it makes sense. It's just I never thought about it the first movie or the first time I saw it. But
I didn't actually catch it until now. But either way, like
no,
just
it's cool.
with that alone, that title puts her in so much more power than I don't know why I keep bringing up the Savages. Probably because I had mentioned this movie when we talked about the Savages. But
Right.
she did such a good job just owning the villain who is in fucking charge.
Exactly.
Is there anything else to talk about with her? I mean, I could probably just talk for an hour about her, but anything else specific?
I'm okay.
can I talk about one of the cronies really fast?
One of the specific cronies?
Yeah.
Is it the wig guy?
Hey, he bothered you too? Like, I'm watching it and I'm like, God, I hate the wig guy.
He gets lit up so bad. Oh my
As
god.
he should.
Oh my god. I forgot about him until you mentioned it.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, he sucked.
I don't know why he was in that
So
movie.
stupid.
It's terrible.
But it was such a funny cut though, because you're just like, what the fuck is this? Oh my god. That was
like,
so
what
good.
was his hair like? What it would have looked like, without the wig? I wonder.
I have no idea.
Probably just
probably
the
just a
hair
bald
and
guy.
makeup people going, he'll look a little more crazy.
Yeah.
I honestly got the impression that somebody was like, wouldn't it be hilarious if we just put this shitty wig on him? The director's like, put some lipstick on him, he'll look great. I wanted to talk about the turncoat judge, if we could, for like 2 seconds.
Sure.
Because I thought that it was really interesting. His name's Lex. I don't know why I wrote it down. But I think it's really interesting that he has the same perspective on Mega City 1 that Dredd does.
Yep.
Which is basically like, he sucks, and he says that it's a meat grinder. And like, it's not that dissimilar from the opening monologue, that like Mega City 1 is basically just chaos. But like, it's interesting to see that they have the same perspective and yet two different takes on the same thing. Much like me and Chewie's take on Anderson's choice at the end of the movie. And I thought that it was really cool that they set up that separation, which I felt like added to the character of Dredd.
Well, like what I said to you last night, one is like a pessimist and one is an optimist. In a weird way. Like, I know that Dredd isn't really an optimist, but...
But he is.
Right, he is.
He totally
He
is,
has to
because
be.
he is that cop. He is totally an optimist. He's a glass half full kind of guy.
Right.
Yep.
Eventually something might get better.
Yeah.
And
Or he
that's-
wouldn't have the job that he does. He
That's
wouldn't be
true.
doing the job that he does. if he
Exactly.
wasn't- Yeah.
Which is my favorite thing in the movie. Because I didn't really recognize it until I saw it last night. And I was like, holy shit. Like, Dredd is like, not just an optimist, but he's like taking this really, like a really realistic viewpoint of like the mega city.
Yeah.
And basically being like, it can get better. If I do a good job, it can get better. And I also think that lends into his fact of why he lets Anderson pass. I just came to that connection right now. Because it's
That
true.
what?
That connection, sorry. That, like, he feels like she could make a difference. So that lends into his decision there,
And
too.
you can tell he's affected by her reason for doing the job. When he asks her, why are you doing this? And just, like, kind of like his silence of the casual frown nod that he gives her. Like, he was listening and he appreciated it. You'll never get that from him.
I'm appreciating this movie more and more. It's so good.
Well, let's talk a little bit about I want to talk a little bit about the costume choices in this movie, but first I want to talk about the action sequences, just kind of in general, because I saw this movie with Cody, always listener, frequent guest, and he had brought up the point that it kind of annoyed him in the movie that there's no hand-to-hand combat.
Ugh.
And it feels like a movie to where, like, Dredd is such a huge guy that once in a while he should really lay into a guy. He does once, briefly, but it feels like the type of movie to where there would be a sequence where he's going to kind of kick some ass, and he doesn't. Personally, as somebody who read the comic book, I said, that makes sense. He's a guy who shoots guys. That's what he's going to do.
Yeah.
But I can kind of see it. But the major action sequence that I want to talk about, because I think everyone will agree, maybe not, but I think the best part of the whole movie is the railguns.
Yeah.
The railguns are
The
the
part is really great.
It's fucking great, and it's one of these. It's a sequence in the movie where there's in every single trailer showed it, and I always kind of went, all right, those like the graphics in that don't look that great, and this doesn't look that great. When it finally came up in the actual movie, it was my favorite part.
Yeah,
and those are the most
It
terrifying
had so
guns
much
I've ever
weight
seen.
to it. You'd be like, oh my god, they're doing this.
Oh yeah, and they're just mowing down civilians.
Everybody.
and I love seeing like the holes that they leave in the walls, which are like easily the size of baseballs. Which is, you know, like you're looking at it going like, it's not that big, and then you think about it, it's like, oh yeah, but that's hitting fucking solid concrete. You know, like when it hits the only thing that I wish that they did, and I can see why they toned this down, is I wish that it was realistic in the sense of when it hit a person that it would have just torn them in half. In reality, it would have.
They thought it showed them doing
when they
that.
hit, they
People
exploded in pockets
Yeah.
of
Oh,
blood.
yeah.
But it was almost Quentin Tarantino style, just
Right, and that's. I can totally. It's not even a complaint because it was already a violent movie. They didn't want to go into the MPAA and be like rated X, and they're like, fuck, and now they have to tone it down. Like, but at the same time, it might have taken me out of it. But it only occurred to me the second time watching it that I was like, well, if the holes are this big with concrete, they would be a billion times bigger with a human. But at the same time, it's like, it doesn't matter. Those things are still terrifying. Like, it got the point across. So I'm not, like, sitting there going, like, that's bullshit. And just, like, crossing my arms and not caring. So.
I also thought that was the sequence getting into Lena Headey's character again. When they were doing all of that. At the beginning, she's actually standing in front of the guns when they're shooting. And you're like, she don't give a shit.
Yep.
She knows she's not going to get shot. She doesn't care.
Right.
Even though she was putting in her position where any of her co-workers could have easily shot her standing there. Could have easily just shot her.
Just turn the gun a little bit.
And then she actually changed it, and she grabs one of the guns herself and starts shooting, and then you see, they actually show a lot of her guys around her looking at each other and looking at her, and you see the terror that they feel against her in that moment, and be like, she has the gun now, she'll do it to any of us.
Exactly.
Yeah, she doesn't hesitate.
No.
She's fucking scary.
She just wanted to let somebody else have some fun, and then she was just going to have her fun.
Yeah.
I feel like the Joker would appreciate her.
Oh,
Absolutely.
they'd be friends.
Yeah.
Or like they're
Well, they would
siblings.
be. She would not
No.
like the Joker, but the Joker would like her.
Yeah.
They would be. They would be acquaintances, but they would have mutual respect.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Harley would hate her.
Yeah. Harley not.
Harley would be like, that's my
Not-
competition.
Not.
And then Mama would kill the shit
Yeah.
out of her. They'd be like, no question. Like, Harley would show up with a giant hammer, and Mama would be like, Skinner. And just be like, spraying her alive, and then just dump her and be like, whatever.
And the Joker would be like, oh.
I love you.
Oh, well.
High five.
Let's talk a little bit about just kind of like the.
costumes and stuff.
I want to talk about the costumes and then the atmosphere, and then that's really all I have to
Yes.
say about this movie. But let's start first with the costumes, because this was, for me, it was a big deal, a very big deal about the helmet.
Yep.
Because the helmet, again, going back to the first movie, that helmet looked shitty. The Sylvester Stallone helmet looked stupid.
It was too gaudy.
It was cartoony.
Yeah.
That whole movie was it's a comic book movie. Let's make it really cartoony.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's not pay attention to the source material, which is very dark and not cartoony at all. It has cartoony colors, but
the shoulder pads was actually pretty cartoony in the comic.
Oh yeah.
They were huge.
I'm glad they got rid of the eagle shoulder pad thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't work.
Good. Yeah. But like the helmet in this one made perfect sense. It looked like a helmet that they should wear pretty much at all times. Yeah. Which they I'm not going to say it in case anybody's lying, but they have a really good line about it. And like it it makes sense. It looks good. It looks fucking terrifying. Like, the judges in this movie look fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, to where, like, when in the beginning of the movie, during the car chase, like, we have a fucking judge on our tail. If I saw that thing behind me with flashing lights,
Yep.
I'd be fucking horrified.
Yep.
Literally just pull over, just put me in whatever cages I need to go in. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Put
I'm
me
sorry,
in the cubes.
I'm sorry.
Put me in the ISO cubes right now. Just I'll go. Like, I'm sorry. I really also like the fact that their costumes looked like, oh hey, like these look like field duty sort of things. Like the main thing, if you read the comic books, like there are a few accessories that are kind of like really ridiculous. Like he has like a shoulder pad that's like a fucking golden eagle sort of thing. And it makes sense in a comic book sort of world because you want to distinguish Dredd from the other judges.
Yeah.
But in this movie, it's just the two.
Yeah.
You don't really have that problem. And it looks more just like a battle-worn sort of piece of gear. Like, he has a utility belt, which makes sense, just like a cop, you know? Like, everything looks like I could see a cop wearing that.
And his coat
30
just
years
looks like fucking like a bulletproof vest. But
Exactly.
It's just 100% bulletproof vest. Like, everything just looks crazy
Looks
tough.
heavy.
Exactly.
It looks, heavy is a good word
Yeah.
for it. It just looks like, they just look scary. They all look just fucking terrifying.
Exactly.
Which was, if you watch an interview with Carl Urban about it, excuse me, he talks about wearing that costume and how it was a bitch to move in.
Yeah.
And you can kind of see it at times. He's restricted as hell. Like, that stuff is heavy. They made
Which is why he probably couldn't do hand-to-hand combat
Yeah.
with someone.
Yeah, like,
Like,
it wouldn't look good if he did hand-to-hand combat because he can't really do much.
especially against somebody who like doesn't have those restrictions. Like, it would just be like them like kind of beating up on his like suit. Like, it
Yeah.
wouldn't.
And that's not the judge's job to... I mean, hand-to-hand combat adheres a lot more to bringing in live people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's not really what he did, hardly ever.
No.
Well, and the other thing is that he's in a building where everyone's out to kill him. If you could avoid fighting with somebody, which takes, like, let's think about it, like, logistically.
Yeah.
Fighting with somebody will take at least 15 seconds. If you're fucking awesome, 5. But on average, probably 15 plus.
Yeah,
you know,
if not
15
a couple
at
of
minimum.
minutes. Yeah.
Exactly.
Where someone could just walk up with a gun and say, bye.
And just shoot you. On the other hand, shooting somebody takes, what, half a second if
Yeah.
you hit them? You know, like...
Which
You would just play the odds every single time. You'd be like,
Yeah.
shoot until I have to fight somebody.
I loved his gun, and I liked that one scene actually in the beginning where he shoots the guy in the mouth and his
Incendiary.
yeah.
Fucking gross.
Hot
I
shots.
love that.
Oh my god.
I just thought it was really cool because I've never seen anything where someone's shot and it kind of eats them out from the inside. It was interesting visually.
It
was
was
pretty rough.
very well done.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Mega City 1.
Actually,
Oh, sorry.
I had one thing to say about the costumes myself a little bit.
Yeah?
That's okay.
No, say it.
I mean, no, I've already moved on. Sorry. Mega City 1.
But one thing that I noticed second viewing was the color yellow. And actually the two characters that are kind of connected to Anderson as the guy that they grab and I don't remember his name.
Avon Barksdale.
That they keep
Yeah.
with them for a while. He was wearing a yellow t-shirt, and then the hacker was wearing a yellow t-shirt. And she's blonde. So to me, they were like, because he's connected to her because she's in charge of him essentially while they're pulling him around.
Yep.
And then he's the guy that tries to trick her and almost kill her. And then the hacker is wearing a yellow t-shirt, and she saves his life. So to me, like, they were both connected to her in a weird way. I don't know if it was on purpose or not.
It is on purpose. It's
But-
always on
so,
purpose.
yeah.
Couldn't it
So-
also have been though, like the yellow would be like the clan color, like the blood?
But no one else was
red?
really
Yeah, no
wearing
one else
yellow.
was
No.
Everybody
No.
else was either
In kind of browns or
browns,
dark blues.
blacks.
Yeah.
Mama was wearing kind of a burgundy shirt,
Yeah.
and I mean, even with
That's
her,
really interesting.
that actually worked into her character too. That she was barely wearing anything. What she was wearing was really baggy. Again, just totally bringing it into like her character was really frail, while everybody else is wearing body armor or at least a lot of layers or whatever.
Yeah.
So to me, those were really other great ways that amplified connections or the character.
Interesting.
That is interesting.
I'm not interested at all.
Brian just leaves. Without saying anything, just walks out.
Fuck that costume stuff.
Yeah, I'd love to talk about Mega City 1.
And then start.
I wrote down a lot of notes about Mega City 1, and I think one of the notes was, I'll read it verbatim, they did a fucking excellent job showing how the city and judges operate. And the reason why I think that they did such a good job is they show like little things, like once after he shoots the guy in the face with the fucking, you know, like with a hot shot. They cut like a little bit later to this like blood Zamboni that's just like there to clean up blood. Like it's a repurposed waxing fucking machine. And I was like, holy shit, that's somebody's job. Like, it happens so frequently that they're like, get the blood Zamboni, just wheel it in.
We'll be done in 30 minutes.
Exactly. And they show that kind of stuff all the time. Where you're like, oh, this city's kind of adjusted to the chaos as much as you could. Where it's just like, yeah, we have things to clean up blood. We have medics who come in and they're just kind of nonchalant. Especially after knowing that something serious has happened. They're just kind of like, yeah, whatever. Once the blast doors come up in the morning, at the end, it's just like...
Business as usual.
Yeah.
This happens all the time.
And they do such a good job with those extras and those actors of basically saying, like, look, this is normal for you. You know, like, and they do such a good job of showing that it's normal. You know, like, when the judges come out onto the skate deck, the kids are kind of surprised, but nobody's like, oh my god, you know, like we would.
Judge!
Right. Yeah. Or even just, oh my god, somebody blew a hole in that fucking building, jumped down to our skate balcony thing, which is bizarre in the first place. Nobody questions this shit, and I think that's awesome.
They're cold.
Exactly. Like, it just felt normal.
And going back to that hotshot sequence again with just Mega City 1, I like that this terrifying person just shot another terrifying person in the face with a bullet that just boiled his head. And all the girl says is, "Thank you, Judge."
Yeah.
What else are we gonna say?
That.
You can't criticize him.
No, you can't be like, "Hey, but that was a little overboard, man."
Be like, "Thanks, I get to live another day. Hopefully, I don't get raped tonight." Like, it's just like that's the attitude. It's just being like constantly afraid. It's like everyone in the movie, except for the people who kind of have power, are constantly afraid.
And even this girl, you know, she didn't do anything wrong, still terrified of him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like it's a judge, which is like it's a good thing because they're there to protect you. Like, they're there to protect the innocents. And they don't even call them civilians. It's just the innocents, as if they're about to break some laws.
Yeah.
The have-not-broken laws yet people.
Yeah.
And, like, so everyone is just constantly afraid of them. And although we get very little time with the society, it's clear that no one wants to be around judges.
No.
But it's... I feel like also because... Only what percentage actually like gets handled by the judges of like crimes
I wrote
that
it down.
happen?
No, it's oh shit. Maybe it is 6%. I wrote it down somewhere.
Yeah, out of all the calls they answer,
Yeah.
6%.
It was
Right,
Right.
so it's like that means that if
Pay
the judge is
attention.
around, then they're pretty much gonna like take shit down. Like they're gonna do as much as they can while they're around you. Like I think that.
And they do an awesome job of showing that when they show the homicides and they slowly pan out to like that map showing like all the crime and it's just shit tons of red dots and it just keeps building and it's just like, yeah, that's ridiculous.
They do an excellent job showing that the judges are losing this fight.
Yeah.
And it's not even that they're losing the fight. The fight is lost.
Yeah.
And that's why it's such a good thing that you have Judge Dredd, who's still fighting it. Still fighting the good fight. But
Right, those other judges have totally given up.
So many of them had, like 4 of them had. They all cashed in for $250,000, which is just kind of like...
That's gonna last you, 3 years?
Well, I mean, I don't think...
I'm assuming.
I think money there is goes a little bit farther.
Yeah.
Right. But you get the impression constantly that like $1 million is a lot.
Yeah.
Like it's like a lot. It'd be like $1 million in like the 1800s, I would imagine. It's something.
Yeah, I think it was
That
like...
much?
I'm not sure in the 1800s.
Well,
but I'd say
that
like
might be
early
far
90s.
back.
Like when you had $1 million, you're set for life. Whereas like today, if you have $1 million, you're set for probably about 20 years.
Yep.
Not even. You're probably set for like 2 years.
I don't know,
Depends on
$1
where you
million?
expected things to
How
be
much do you
inflated.
spend?
Yeah.
No,
$1
I mean-
million? Well, I got a new pair of shoes.
A few months, maybe.
How much do you make?
Oh, I
Gosh.
make like $500,000 a year right now.
A minute?
An assistant in the costuming world?
I'm just joking.
Good Lord.
I wish.
It depends on where you live. But I mean, in Mega City 1, it feels like money's pretty tight.
I would say, yeah. I'd say early 90s, $1 million.
I guess I didn't
Probably
think
not
about it like
equivalent.
that.
What?
I didn't think about it like that.
Well,
I
that's
was thinking-
like when she says like how much to do this? $1 million. What? And that's what they go with.
Do you know which
Yeah,
Dredd
do
you
you know-
have?
Well, who the fuck we
Or
have
which
to
judge?
attempt to kill right now?
Yeah.
$1 million.
And that wasn't even enough.
No.
Well, it might have been enough. It was enough for them to agree to die.
Yeah.
That's true.
Uh,
But then
Enough
they
to
got
agree
it.
well, they really didn't think they were going to die. They were
They
kind
should
of
have
cocky.
known better.
Yeah.
They thought this was going to be a cakewalk.
Maybe
I
if there was more money involved, they would have,
I get
dotted
go ahead,
their
sorry.
I's
I get the feeling that
or
the
whatever.
guy who was called knew that he was going to lose a couple people.
Oh yeah. He didn't
He
seem
wasn't
to be.
surprised.
He didn't seem to be that surprised or worried when his friend got his fucking trachea smashed, and then like his other friend got blown in half from the top up. You know, like I think that he was kind of like, yeah, I figure I'm going to be the last one, but if I can throw enough people at him, maybe I can get him. And honestly, he almost got him.
If
Almost.
it wasn't for Anderson, he would have won.
Yeah. I honestly thought that Dredd was going to die there, or at the very least, not be in the rest of the movie.
What would you thought would have happened?
Anderson would have saved the day. That would have been a bad choice to
It would have
make.
been a bad movie, but
Yeah, exactly. Well, because like I was like, honestly, how the fuck is he getting out of this? Because Anderson, they just showed her just kill somebody, and I was also like, he got shot once. He only got shot once.
Well, he got hit twice.
Was it? I thought that it went. Oh, I guess you're right. It went left side, right side, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, he's fucking done. And then they showed his awesome field repair shit, and I was like,
that's
oh,
cool.
okay, that
Basic
makes sense.
field
Yeah,
dressing.
basic field dressing.
Is that I get shot every day.
Yeah.
I do like that because that just shows that he gets shot a lot.
Yeah.
That guy's fucking Swiss cheese. He's been hit a lot.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, he definitely gets lit up pretty bad. But I think that Mega City 1... I want to see another movie because I want to see more of Mega City 1. I honestly think that they did such a good job of showing, like, just the environment. Not just of peach trees, but of, like... You know, peach trees is just the magnifying glass that you see Mega City 1 through. That's it. And it's just, like, an awesome sort of magnifying glass. You get to see the medics. The medics are a bunch of pussies. Well, I mean, I don't judge. I can't judge them. I mean, being in that situation would do the same thing. I'd be like, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Sorry, bro.
Yeah. Hands are tied. But, like, that's just the way it is.
Well, I like to believe that if we got a sequel out of this, it'd be kind of like where the Raid sequel is going. Because, like, I've been following up on the Raid a lot. And
There's going to be a sequel?
Of course there's going to be a sequel.
Yeah,
the
the movie
Raid.
made enough
No, I know.
money.
Oh,
and
sorry.
it definitely got enough press.
Yeah, the Raid did really, really well. For an Indonesian film,
That's
it did
true.
fucking amazing.
Yeah.
But that sequel's apparently going to span 4 years, and it's going to be all about the city and the crime world and how that cop has to deal with the drug lord that his brother becomes because he leaves him behind. And I'm spoiling a movie that we didn't agree to spoil today, but that's okay. And I feel like if we got a sequel to Dredd, it would be very similar to the what they were hoping to get, which was we made a $50 million movie that made $150 million that now we can spend on doing a much bigger sequel, which we didn't get at all. So I have a feeling even if we do get a sequel, it won't be the sequel that we want. I don't think we'll see a lot more of Mega City 1. I don't think we'll see a lot more of the world because I don't think no one's going to give them the proper amount of money to make that movie.
I think it just depends on if the director's still in charge. Because I think that the director will push to do that. I think because this seems similar to me, hypothetically, as Batman Begins. Batman Begins didn't flop, but it didn't do well either.
It did. It made its money back.
It made its money back. That's
and then
true.
some. It did pretty well.
It did. Yeah, but it... Yeah.
It did well enough to go, yeah, we'll give you a sequel and pretty much whatever you want to do. Because
Yeah,
guaranteed,
that's true.
we give you $100 million, you're going to make $150, so we'll still make $50 million on you. So yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas this one, yeah, it won't. There's no way. And even if they do make a sequel, this guy clearly didn't have what it takes to make a blockbuster. They're not going to bring him back.
That's true.
Probably not, yeah.
Which sucks because he did a great job.
I agree.
Great job, but yeah, this.
I don't think
What
that
else
it's
has
his
he-
fault.
No,
what
I don't
else
think
has
so
he
either. But
Marketing.
No.
Anything?
What else has he directed? I know he did stuff.
well, I know the writer's the powerhouse on this one.
Oh, really?
Alex Garland. He wrote 28 Days Later, and he
Yeah,
wrote
yeah.
Sunshine, and he wrote. Yeah, he's the go-to guy. in
He
this
did
So
an
again,
awesome
a
job
really
in this
great
movie.
writing,
He
yeah.
did, yeah. He's
I
a really fucking good
I
writer.
would also hope that they could get their cinematographer back if they did a sequel, though.
That'd be
Because
nice.
we haven't talked about that at all yet. But
We'll
I thought
talk about
some of
it.
their choices
talk about
with
it a
it
little
was
bit.
great.
Talk about it now, Chewie.
Yeah, talk about it. Just talk
Well,
about it.
well, the
Just talk about it
okay.
because they don't want to talk about
Well, the
quotes.
cinematography for me was great in like certain moments where I actually felt it. Sorry about that. Like 2 moments to me specifically was when they were at the was it the Hall of Judges? I don't know what you'd call it, but where, like, his workplace.
Yeah.
How they shot that completely different than the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Everything was really closed. Everything had kind of like layers. Like when they're going down the escalator, they had all those triangles, and they were kind of far away from them, but they felt like they were being suffocated by the concrete around them. And then when you get out into the city, then everything's really open, but everything's chaotic and falling apart and da-da. But everything in the hall was solid and clean and placed. And and then the other part where I felt the cinematography was great was when he was confronted by the two kids.
Oh, right.
And they had that one moment with the distance between them and how easy it would be for the judge or Dredd to just shoot them.
Right.
Like, you stupid kids, just shoot them. And, like, they were far away, but not too far away. And that also actually got into his character about how he had some hope, because he didn't just shoot the kids right away. He could have.
Exactly.
He gave them a choice.
He gave them a choice, which he didn't give anybody else.
No.
That's true.
And I don't know where else to go with it, actually, right now. It's just the way they shot things, to me, propelled the story along really well. Which,
yeah,
not
agree.
all cinematography does that. Sometimes it's just like, we're looking at this now.
Right.
But I never really got that feeling. Like, I always felt like the way they framed things had a good reason.
That makes sense. I agree with that.
What about the scene where, like, I guess they're busting the party or whatever?
The drug den?
Yeah.
Yeah, the way that whole sequence was shot and kind of paced.
Fucking
Yeah.
beautiful.
It was
Yeah.
really beautiful.
Just throwing it out there, this cinematographer that we're all gushing over is Anthony Don Mantle. He's an Academy Award winner for cinematography. So yeah, he knows his shit.
Yeah.
He did Slumdog Millionaire. He did 27 Hours.
He's very good.
This is like a super British...
Super British.
Back.
And a lot of people who worked with Danny Boyle.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
Makes sense.
It seems gritty in that kind of way, too.
Yeah.
Who's the director again?
The director, however, is Pete Travis. This was supposed to be his big break, so...
That sucks.
That's
Yeah.
What else has
sad.
he done?
Vantage Point.
He did Vantage Point, that movie blew. He did Endgame, which I never even saw. He's in trouble.
That's
Which sucks, because he did a really good job.
I think he did a really good job.
Like, I assume that he must have been a fan of the comic.
He had to have been.
Either that or he
wouldn't have
bought
done this
all of
good of a
them
job
before.
if he did. Yeah.
He bought all of them after he got hired and then made sure that he knew.
No, he wouldn't have gotten this job if it wasn't for that. But
Yeah.
before we go way too off topic and start kind of petering out, let's just move on to our lines and then give this thing a rating, and then we're going to call it
Absolutely.
a podcast. So I don't know who wants to start with lines, because I have a couple backups in case people take mine. So
I can't remember my exact one. Like, I know the scene, and
What's the
we talked about
scene?
it earlier. It's when she is going to get shot in the face, the Anderson, by the guy that they captured. And she says something like, or he says, do you have any last words?
okay.
And then she said I was going to...
Oh, funny.
Say
I was
the
going to ask you
same
the same
thing,
thing.
too. Yeah.
To you, bitch.
Yeah, and then she said,
Yeah.
bitch. Like, I like that part. That was mine.
That's
Fair.
good.
It's not line, it's like multiple lines. But
That's fine.
I have multiple lines for mine, unless Nick takes it,
Mine,
which he usually does.
unfortunately, mine is Dredd is talking to his boss, and the boss just says, so she basically alludes to, she's like, I don't want, like, to burden you, by throwing this, like, and she's referring to Anderson, throwing her into the deep end. And he doesn't even look at his boss. He just goes, it's all the deep end. And he just leaves. And that line could have been so shitty, but the way he delivers it, you're just like, yeah, I get it. Like, you're just like, yeah, like, this is some
You're
war-torn
tired of this.
faces, like, oh my god. That was my favorite. I thought that that was such a well-delivered line. It was so hilarious. That's mine.
Mine isn't a line vocally, I suppose.
Okay.
Because I kept seeing, like, all these other things that were really good, like little one-liners. But to me, this not line was the best moment for Dredd in my mind. Was after they shot the block up. And they're just standing there waiting. And be like, is there anyone in there? And then they just hear this scuffling. And the other guy going, no, 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 no. And and Dredd grabs him, throws him over the side, doesn't even look at Mama. And then just walks back into the darkness. It's just a big, giant, fuck you, I'm alive. Didn't need to say it, everyone knows it, everyone feels it. So to me, that was my favorite line.
That was pretty
Because it's a
damn
giant fuck you without having to say it.
So it was the no.
I guess.
No. What is Chewie's favorite line?
Yep.
But I loved that moment. I could just watch that on loop. That could be a GIF, and I'd be like, I love it.
That's good.
Mine is it's a back and forth really quick. So when they're in the helicopter elevator right after they kidnapped Avon Barksdale, and they're riding up, and they have him, and she's holding him in her handcuffs and stuff, and they're just kind of quietly, and then she just goes, "Sir, he's thinking about making a move for your gun," and he just kind of goes, "Yeah." He just changed his mind. Yep.
Oh, it's so good. He has so many good, like, I wouldn't even call them one-liners. It's just reactions. Just being like, yeah.
He's a man of few words.
He really is. And he nails, like, every line that he has. Where it's just like...
His fuck you to Lena Headey after he throws her out of the window is one of the best I've ever seen. It's no like, fuck you! He just watches her fall and goes, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and it's filled with such contempt because, like, he basically, at that moment, is just like, I get to kill you, and there's a chance, a small chance, that post-mortem you're going to get to kill me. And then it's just so satisfied when he just goes, yep, and just leaves. And you're just like, fuck! Like, what a badass.
It was pretty great.
Yep.
I'm gonna throw out my other favorite line just because I want to.
Fair enough.
My other favorite line... Did we lose something?
Yeah, it's under your foot. I'll get it after.
Okay, we're all good.
Thank you.
So my other favorite line was during that...
Go ahead, Brian.
What?
No, it's okay. You want to blow your nose while I'm talking again?
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Just get it out.
Let's all just take like a cough break.
No, we want to hear it.
So go ahead, Brian. What's funny is we're not going to be able to hear this.
No.
But that's okay.
Okay, so...
I'm moving away from the mic.
Alright, so my other favorite line was...
I had to.
No, it's okay. The other line that I really want to mention was when they're talking about the bad judge, and they're talking about how it's like, 4-way split on $1 million isn't that much money. He's like, yeah, well, I'm willing to take it. Well, it's a 3-way split now. Well, that's better for me. And then he kills the other guy, and after he kills the guy, instead of going, he died or something like that, just yells out, 2-way split.
You know what's funny about that? The first time I heard that, and I did the same thing the second time, I thought, weird, I haven't heard of that ammunition type before. I thought that he was referring to change the ammo on his gun. Because when he says it, he's looking at his gun, or he's got his gun right here, so I thought he was talking to his gun. I didn't realize it until, like, the second time I saw the movie, and it took me 5 seconds to get that joke.
That he's talking shit to the other guy?
Yep.
Alright.
So, our rating system, I'm going to throw this out there. Ammo type. What's the ammo type that you would give this movie?
Okay.
Because I feel like it's one of the most the most memorable things about the movie is not just the gun, but it's the fact that the ammo is like so varied.
No, that's fine.
That works. So you have to give it an ammo type.
I'm not going first. Why are you looking at me?
Because you're going to go first. Because you just said I'm not going first. Now you have to go first.
I don't know what they're called. Like,
then make one
up. You make one up.
Okay. I give it...
Don't say, like, awesome ammo.
I wasn't going to say awesome ammo, but now I give it awesome ammo.
I feel like that means she hates the movie.
You usually give a reasoning for like why you said awesome ammo. Like one.
Alright, then Brian's an asshole.
I mean, Brian's an asshole. That's why
Okay, that's
I need to stop answering for it. What would you give it?
I would give it 20 out of 20 those things that go in his mouth and melt
Respirator? Him. Oh, hot shots? 20 out of 20 hot shots?
Actually, 19
Incendiaries.
out of 20 hot shots.
19 out of 20 hot shots?
Because I don't want to give it like a perfect score. I feel bad about that.
I'm going to make everyone groan with my answer because it's a terrible pun. Are you guys ready?
Yeah,
I'm giving
ready.
you fair warning. Oh my god. I'm gonna give this Biohazard ammo because this movie's sick.
Oh,
Exactly. No, I really like the movie, and I was trying to think of something. I noticed Brian has a BioShock game out, and I was like, bio, poison, sick. This movie's sick. And then I was like, that's terrible. It's so bad that I have to say it now. So I really like the movie. I thought the movie was fucking awesome, and I thought that it'd be cool to have poison ammo too. That'd be awesome to shoot somebody and just be like, whatever, and the body just kind of like falls apart. Like a vampire in Buffy.
There you go.
Yeah, I fucking went with it.
I've never seen that show.
It's pretty good.
I've never
The
seen
movie
Buffy.
or the show?
Nothing.
The movie's a little bit more understandable.
Hmm.
It's an old movie, and it's kind of...
Okay,
yeah.
Go ahead. What?
Okay, well, I think I'll go with a slightly meme-based one. About how everyone likes cats with laser cats. But I'll go with cats made out of glitter, because this movie was really glittery,
Yeah.
with blowtorches.
Interesting.
That's the most terrifying ammo ever.
Because this movie was beautiful, it destroyed everything, it had fan service, while not making, like, in-jokes fan service, not like wink wink, but like,
Right.
we're doing right by you
Sure.
type of fan service. And there was lots of glitter. That movie was glittery, but not girly. It was glittery like, this is what it's going to look like when you're completely doped up and dying.
Yep.
So, glittery cats with blowtorches, absolutely terrifying, and enjoying the shit out of killing you.
Yeah.
I thought we were supposed to do something out of something.
You can do whatever you want.
You can do... That's the best part about our rating
You
system.
can do whatever
Our
you
rating
want.
system is Mega City 1. It's chaos.
Just imagine being chased down by a glittery cat with a blowtorch.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Mine is going to be way less dramatic than pretty much everybody's, but that's how I like to do it. I'm going to give it silver ammunition, because it always feels like whenever you need like this special ammunition to get the right thing done, it's always silver, and it's going to be highly polished, it's going to look great,
Yep.
and it's going to be fucking terrifying when it's ever fired at you. But just plain old ammunition, because it's just a good old action film,
Yep.
and when fired, it does exactly what it needs to do.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what would be cool ammunition? Like ammunition from fucking Fifth Element. Shoot it, and then you're just gonna like wave the gun around and it goes right back to where it was.
I still
Because it hits the spot, just like this movie. Yes! Double punch! Oh,
man, that ammunition can be gone so wrong.
I know. Imagine shooting this way and the bullets come back. That's what I thought would happen the first time I saw the movie.
Physical gags on podcast.
Yeah. Okay, that's it.
The end.
Yep.
I have no idea what we're doing next. I can't give a lead-in. I like giving lead-ins.
I wouldn't mind doing Fifth Element.
We're not doing Fifth Element.
We have to gear up towards like older ones.
I can know. We're probably gonna do Dark Knight Rises at some point soon.
Yeah.
I don't know when. Probably soon.
Yeah.
Looper just came out. We might do Looper.
We
soon.
might do Looper. Looper would be a good one too.
We just listen.
Yeah.
We'll tell you what it is next time.
Yeah,
After
for sure.
a lot of foreplay and a lot of
Yeah.
talking around what the movie is.
Yeah.
I'll even do more of it next time in case when Savon listens,
gonna-
she'll get specifically annoyed at me,
Yeah.
and I'll feel really good about that.
Like,
we're gonna
this
light
foreplay isn't so great. When's it gonna
I
end?
know, right?
We're gonna light some candles.
Oh yeah.
But the candles are gonna smell bad.
Yeah, they're gonna smell. They're gonna be like my scent that I like. It's gonna smell like apple pie.
It's not
and,
about you.
like
Wait,
cotton
I like that.
clothes.
What are you talking about?
Okay, let's think of something that you don't like that I like. It's gonna
Fish.
smell like wasabi. Yeah.
Ooh,
It's
wasabi candy.
Do they make
and gonna put on some Marvin Gaye cover songs, you know, like just
cover songs?
set the mood. Punk rock Marvin Gaye cover song.
I'm really turned on right now.
This is the worst.
That's your next foreplay session.
You better now.
All right, this is Brian again. Thank you so much for listening to After the Hype. You can find us at After the Hype on Twitter, so it is ATH_podcast, on Facebook at ATH Podcast, and you can contact us at Gmail at ATHpodcast@gmail.com.
Yep.
Thank you again so much, and have a good one.